Today should be a happy occasion for French President François Hollande as he marks his first anniversary in office today. But celebrations have been soured with the news France is back in recession after GDP shrank 0.2% in the 3 months through March. Dominique Barbet, senior economist at BNP Paribas, joins me on the line. Dominique, can we expect policy response from Hollande to revive growth given France is in recession again?
As a matter of fact, everyone already knew we were basically in recession, although the official news came in this morning. The reason is that we already had at the end of last year a year-on-year negative growth rate. So there is no real change in the economic situation, unless the fact that this is likely to continue in the course of this year. And this is obviously a matter of concern. Turning to the political reaction, there is very little that the government can do in order to counter this recession, given the constraint on the fiscal policy.
And how do you think news of France's recession will affect the Eurozone?
The market has reacted pretty calmly to this piece of news. I think the situation is more worrisome because it's not only France which is doing poorly, but all European countries which have published GDP today and the Eurozone altogether underperformed expectations, and Eurozone GDP contracted another quarter by 0.2% in Q1. So basically, the entire Eurozone, which is now very clearly in recession with little hope of improvement over the short run. Even Germany is doing pretty poorly with just a 0.1% growth in the first quarter after a 0.7% decline of GDP in the last quarter of 2012.
Declining growth isn't France's only problem. Hollande is struggling to reduce the numbers of unemployed from a record 3.22 million. Shouldn't the French government be doing more to create jobs?
Yes, sure, and that is certainly what the government has in mind. Now turning to the classic policies to support employment, such as subsidizing jobs for young people, there is very little the government can do more than what has been actually delivered so far. So now the government is turning to structural reforms, and this is the piece of good news. In this situation, the government has got no choice but deliver the structural reform and deliver them as quickly as possible, hoping they will bear fruits before the next general and presidential election, which are due in 2017.
And Italian GDP data was also released today, showing some growth from -2.8% to -2.3%. Is this good news for Italy?
This is good news to some extent with a slower recession, but Italy is still in recession. Recession was partly due to the fiscal tightening. The fiscal tightening is having less of an impact on the Italian economy at present. We need to know really the details of the GDP, which we don't have yet, to know whether what can be the only sustainable engine for Italian growth, that is to say exports, are really growing. We are at present a little bit skeptical. We did not see much signs so far which are showing that exports are really dynamic.
German central bank head Jens Weidmann last week criticised French efforts to reduce its budget deficit just days after the EU agreed to give Paris more time to meet EU requirements. He is also warning French delays could damage the credibility of Eurozone rules. Are his comments fair?
I think part of the recession is actually due to the fiscal tightening. The government has been delivering more than 1 percentage point of fiscal tightening in the past 3 years. even more than 1.5 percentage points for this year is planned. So definitely the fiscal tightening played a role in putting the French economy in recession. So tightening further beyond this would obviously have adverse feedback effect and be counterproductive. So I think really the aim should be towards structural reform rather than fiscal tightening per se. And in terms of the reputation of the euro or the eurozone altogether, I think the fiscal performance of Europe is significantly better than what we've seen in the US, the UK, or Japan. So there is no reason to be concerned on this specific issue.
And how long do you think it will take for the French government to reduce its budget deficit to the EU's target 3% of GDP?
This was originally planned for this year and has been postponed to next year. The EU Commission has opened the door for further postponement until 2015. As a matter of fact, I think 2015 is a much more realistic target date to reach this goal rather than obviously this year and next year. So it looks like that French economy should be able to reach the 3% target or below, not by next year, but by the year after. And this could be reached without damaging further the economy, and this could be reached with maybe a lighter pace of fiscal tightening that we currently have.
That's all for now, but do check out an interview with my colleague Thomas Taplin, who looks at UK claimant jobs. Goodbye for now.